Good morning, students. Myself Rohit Vashist, Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Ajay Kumargar Engineering College. And today I am here to start a knowledgeful lecture series on the core subject of computer science field, that is operating system. And the code for this subject is KCS 401, and student will learn this subject in their BTech second year. So in this lecture, the outline of this lecture will include what is operating system, and what are the needs of operating systems, and why we are using this operating systems, and what are the main functionalities that operating system offer to the end user. So introduction. As you have studied this definition in your primary classes, what is operating system? Operating system acts like an interface between computer hardware components and the end user. So these are the two modules. These are the two modules, computer hardware and user. Between them, operating system acts like an interface. We can understand this with the help of a real life example. When we are talking to a friend that is communicating with the same language in which we are communicating, so there will be no problem. Clear? But if we are communicating with a friend that is communicating and that is spoken in Kannada, and we are speaking in English or Hindi, so the communication can't take place in a convenient and flexible manner. So we require some interface, we require some intermediate that can make our communication feasible. So same is the case here when we talking about this computer hardware. Computer hardware deals with the assembly language, machine language, that is 01. And when we are talking about this user, so user talk in and user communicate in high level language. Clear? So there is a gap between computer hardware and user. So to make the communication convenient, flexible between computer hardware and user, we require operating system. So operating system helps you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak the computer language, and it acts as an intermediate between the underlying system hardware and end user. So this is the architecture. This is the one phase hardware, and next phase is end user. End user want to interact with this hardware, so it can't do the interaction directly. What it will do, it will interact with the hardware with the help of operating system. For example, if you want to use printer come in the input output resources. So if you want to use printer, so you can't access the printer directly. You are just pressing Control P or you are pressing print command, and you don't know what is the underlying procedure behind this print command. Clear? How this print command is knocking printer that you have to print something that end user is asking. So this knocking is done by operating system. Whenever you are printing, when you are pressing Control P or print command, then operating system will call a system call write. What is system calls? System call you will understand in the later lectures. System call is a way so that we can assess or we can use the functionalities of the operating system. So whenever you will press Control P or you will press print command, so what operating system will do, it will print and it will call write system call. For example, you will use this in your C program, printf you use in your C program. In the argument of printf, whatever it is written, so through the write system call, it will be printed to the input to the monitor screen. So whatever will be done by a printer will be handled by this system call write system call. So a system call vary from operating system to operating system. For example, Windows has 300 around system calls, while Linux has 700 around system calls. So it varies from system calls to system calls. So next topic says that what is the need of operating system? Why we need operating system? Consider the two cases. In the absence of operating system, what will happen? For example, if there is no operating system, so what will be the scenario? The user will interact with the hardware directly. Clear? Or the system resources directly. If there is no operating system, so user will interact with the system resources directly, and here the system resources hardware. And while dealing with the hardware, you have to write complex programs in the command prompt in Windows and terminals in Linux operating system. You have seen a black screen, a command prompt screen, where you directly access the hardwares. Clear? If you want to connect the printer to your system, so you have to synchronize the IP addresses of both the systems, that is your system and the printer, so that they can be connected and we can use a printer in synchronization with our computer system. So if there is no operating system in between user and hardware, so we have to write complex programs to interact with the hardware. So in the absence of operating system, the interaction between user and hardware will become more complex because of this programming. Clear? So this is the one drawback, this is the one cause, that's why we need operating system. Operating system makes the user and computer hardware interaction more convenient, and because of this convenience property, Windows operating system acquire 95% market once a while because of this convenience. Clear? For example, when I have done my 11th, 12th, so I have used this Windows operating system in my laptops. So why most of the users are using this Windows? Just because of convenience, so that user feel some friendly behavior while interacting with the system's resources with the help of this operating system. So this is one of the primary goal or primary aim of using operating system, that it's provide convenience. Clear? And next is effective resource management. Effective resource management means if user is interacting with the resources directly, if I am for example, I have to write a program in C, I have to compile it and then take a printout of the program output. Now what I have done, I have acquired the CPU, printer, and whatever the resources I required during the for execution my task at the beginning, but I need printer at the last. Clear? So what is the drawback is here, that printer remain idle while when you are writing your program, when you are running it. Clear? Printer will be used at last. So in absence of operating system, there is no resource management. There will be no resource management. There is no resource governance. Because of this property, because of this need, operating system is known as resource governor. It governs the usage and allocation, deallocation of system resources to the various users. Clear? And what is the main goal of this is to minimize the idle time of the resources. We have to minimize the idle time. For example, we have used the printer at last, so printer will remain idle in the initial phase of the task. So it may be possible that printer can be allocated to some another needy process at that time, so that we can increase the throughput of the printer. What is throughput? Number of jobs executed per unit time. Clear? So these two are the main cases when there is no operating system. So first case says that the interaction between the computer hardware and the user will become more complex because of this machine language programs. The user have to write the low level programs to interact with the computer hardware. And in second case, there will be no authority, there will be no resource management for the system resources. And whenever we are talking about the system resources, so what are the resources? First is your electronic data. Second is hardware. Next is software, and many more. In hardware, we have CPU, input output devices, and memory. So these are the primary resources of a system: electronic data, hardware, software, and many more. In hardware, we are dealing with CPU, input output, and memory. For handling the resource usage of CPU, we are having CPU scheduling algorithms, which handles the usage of CPU among various needy processes, and that you will study in unit 3rd. Next is the main functions of operating system. What are the main functions of operating system? These are the terms, that's why we are needing this operating system, and by providing these function, we are able to make our interaction with the user hardware more convenient. So the first function is memory management, very important, processor management, file management, device management, input output device, input output management, secondary storage management, security. When you are dealing with security, you will study CIA triangle. I will teach you in later slide. Command interpretation, networking, communication management, and job accounting. So we will discuss each function one by one. So the first function is process management. What is process management? For example, there is only one resource, CPU, and there are n number of processes, P1, P2 up to Pn. P1, P2 up to Pn, and n number of resources are demanding for this CPU. Resources 1 and processes are multiple users are there. So resource management is required in the case of multi-user environment or parallel environment, when there is no only one user per resource. When there are multiple user per resource, so we are requiring process management. For example, if in your college there is a lecture theatre, so timetable should be designed in such a manner such that no two classes arrived and demand at the same time for the lecture theatre. There should be no clashing in the timetable. So such type of things in the perspective of this system resources is done by operating system, where we have a synchronization between processes, when to allocate CPUs to this first process, when to allocate CPU to this n process. We use CPU scheduling algorithm for this, and there is a certain criteria per CPU scheduling algorithm which allocate processes to this CPU. Next is memory management. What is memory management? Memory management, when we deal with the memory management, we are dealing with RAM. And why we are requiring management for this RAM? Because RAM is limited in size. For example, you have made a program in C and saved it as .c file extension. Now you want to execute it. Whenever a program want to execute itself, it first should be allocated to the main memory, that is RAM. Clear? and after the program has been executed, it should be deallocated from the main memory so that another needy process can be allocated to the main memory. It it should not be happen that program is executed and it is also remaining in the RAM. It is a wastage. It is a wastage of RAM, because a program that has been executed is in the RAM, and the another program that required RAM, main memory, for its execution purpose, it is unnecessarily waiting outside the main memory. So such kind of allocation and deallocation of processes to the main memory is handled by RAM. Next is file management. What does file management do? File management deals with the creation of file, deletion of file, protection of files, such that you have seen in your laptop that some files are shareable in only read mode. You can't write and you can't do any modification in them. So this is the protection of files. So this is done in this module, in this function. Next is device management. Device management deals with the input output device management, when to allocate a input output device to a process, when to deallocate that input output device. If two processes are demanding the same input output device, so what should be the priority, which process should be allocated first that input output device. Clear? And similar kind of thing is done in this input output system management. So these are the first 5 functions of operating system. Next is secondary storage management. When we are dealing with secondary storage management, we are dealing with hard disk. We are dealing with hard disk, means the data that we want to be permanently stored, we stored it on hard disk, and for this management we use disk scheduling algorithms. Disk scheduling algorithms we use for secondary storage management. As a content reveal, the system have several layers of storage, which include primary storage, secondary storage, and cache storage. What is cache storage? The memory fragments, the code that we require frequently in the execution, we store that fragments in this cache storage. So instruction and data must be stored in primary storage or cache so that a running program can reference it. Now when we are dealing with this security, we are dealing with this triangle CIA, security. When we are dealing with security, we are dealing with this 3 terms, CIA. What is CIA? C stands for confidentiality. Confidentiality says that the sensitive information, the protective information, the login details of a user should be accessible to only authorized user. No hacker, no attacker can use or can steal the login details of a authorized user. If it is there, so we will say that confidentiality of the data is breached. Next is integrity. Integrity says that when we are transmitting the data from sender to receiver and it will be reached to the intended sender, intended receiver without any modification, without any changes in between the path. For example, university has dispatched the question papers for operating system to respective colleges through a transporter person. Now until and unless these question papers will be received by the colleges, there should not be any changes in the question papers. And if there is any change, any modification by the transporter, by the mediator in the this question paper, so we will say that integrity of the data is breached. Clear? And last is availability. Availability says that your data should be always available 24/7 to the authorized user. Clear? And for example, when you are registering for your college examination form, you see that you are the authorized AKTU student, but you are not able to log in into the university site, and this is showing as downtime of the site. For increase the availability of a system, we should reduce its downtime. What is downtime? When the system is not able to cater the needs of the authorized user. You are the authorized student, I am the authorized faculty of AKTU, I want to log in and I want to update my profile, but I am not able to do the same because of the network congestion. There is so much network congestion on the site. So this is known as availability breaching in a security system. So confidentiality, integrity and availability are the three prime goals of a system, secure system. If any of the goal is breached, so we can say that yes, our system is not purely secure. Clear? For example, when you are doing online shopping through Amazon, you are more concerned with this confidentiality. You are entering the your account details. If your account details are stealed by another hacker, so you will not use this Amazon platform. Why? Because you will claim that this Amazon platform is has not made a secure system for the user. I have used 3 times the Amazon, and out of 2 times my login details have been breached. So I will switch to Flipkart. So whenever a system is designed, its security policies are also look into a theoretical in a deeper manner, so that no security breacher can be there from the attacker side. Next is command interpretation. What is command interpretation? Command interpretation says that whatever the user is writing on the command prompt and whatever the user is giving command, so what action you are taking for that respective command. For example, I have pressed A from keyboard. So what will operating system will do on the monitor? It will print A on the monitor screen. I have print delete. So it will, what it will do? It will give a pop-up. Are you sure to delete this item? If yes, then item will be deleted. If no, the item will not be deleted. So command interpretation deal with the various command that will be entered by the user. Next is networking. Now what is networking? Networking says that a distributed system, why we make a system distributed? To increase its availability. N number of systems are connected through a network, and they are not sharing their memory, they are not sharing their hardware devices, but they are communicating with them. For example, in your computer labs, all the systems are connected to the printer. Means if you given a command from a system number 16, it will be directly given to printer and your document will be printed. And if you are giving the command from system 1, same will happen. So what you have done, you have make a clustered of the system that is using the same resource printer. Next, last function of operating system is job accounting. If you see your task manager in your laptops and computer system, you will able to see that what percentage of memory you have used, that what percentage of input output devices have you used. It will show a timestamp or a percentage Gantt chart that will show how much resources you have used for executing a particular task. So this kind of accounting and record keeping, record maintenance is also done by operating system. Job accounting is also known as record maintenance function by the operating system. So these are the main 10 functions of an operating system. Very important topic of unit first. So this is all for this lecture. In the next lecture we will study types of operating system. Thank you.